Annyeonghaseyo. It's the weekend and Saturday night, and I'm sitting in my house making this video. So, SPY still in an uptrend, kind of going sideways now. If we pull back to this, find it as support, that would be constructive for this uptrend. Talk about the three top pre-market movers. Esper was on there, huge gap down from this uptrend, CSPR. So I don't really know what the pre-market levels were because it's not going to show me now. But actually, yes, it will. Maybe. So it just like slammed down. There was really like no chance to play this, and there's a huge gap anyway, so I'm avoiding that. So that was one. The other one was Edit, which has high pre-market volume, but it's making lower highs or lower lows, lower highs. Then we get that flush off the open reverses, but yet again, I believe it was not a large gap, but it's in this chop, like the sideways shit, so it just didn't interest me at all. And the last one was Tops, which is like this former runner. So I'm gonna add Tops to the big list because it is a former runner. But there was a ton of volume done the prior day, and just the pre-market was just like it was like all this action, so like lower highs, lower lows, but then just kind of like chop around for most of the day. So lately a lot of the top pre-market movers haven't been giving really great trades, but that is what it is. Edit my list. So that was SPY top two pre-market. Talk about my trade from yesterday. So AAOI, big pictures, we're in an uptrend still, and we got to pull back to the midline, which is also kind of like this support level over here. So we pulled back to the midline and got this like little narrow range day. So the trigger was that we took out this day's high. So I actually took two shots of this initially. See, I bought it 49.47, so that's like right here. Probably, in my estimation, this is not a good entry spot. Why? Well, it's kind of approaching the 10:30, mark, and we've already, we made higher highs, higher lows. We're in an intraday uptrend, but I mean, this is like the third leg of this kind of move here. So, maybe it was better to wait. Which I did end up getting back in this later from this 249.53 area, so I actually even bought higher than I did the previous time. But so I got in here and put my stop just below here to give myself some room, and I had a winning trade. So one losing trade, but I had my stop appropriately placed. I think I actually risked I risked less because I had to put my stop so far away. So, I had one losing trade, but I had one winning trade, and that, made up for the losing trade and then some. So, I fell asleep yet again. So, with bulls on Wall Street, I won't be able to do that. They'll take me out of my position. I don't think I'm allowed swing trades over like $5,000 worth of capital anyway. So, they would take me out of this end of day. But as it is, like, I'm holding this overnight. I would like to just close this out right on the open because, the idea is on the daily is it's like a good swing trade setup, the Holy Grail setup, kind of pulling back to the midline, and then volume was good on this day, so I mean there's really no reason to not hold this until the next day is open. But that would have been something I should have had in my plan going forward and should do, that I had like thought about why I want to do that, but just the falling asleep before the end of the trading session, or I need to have a market order close for my orders at least. So that was my one trade. So I took two entries at it, but one was much better than the other. Talk about some good setups. Seru, a lot of volume. So this is just mad in play coming off the base. We are, had kind of seen this like resistance level before, but this is the all-time high up here. So, and then it had a nice intraday level yesterday. It's like over under level, kind of hit it like a lot on a lot of different days, and so it's like 313 was good for trading today. So I mean, you could have been playing there, but if it if we open lower and continue higher, I mean, we are outside of Keltner, but coming off a base, like riding the band is will happen. So any gap up, I'm going to be very hesitant about longs. But if we open below this day's low, the Friday's low, I could be thinking long if volume starts to come in. The volume's still really good on CRU. McRib just kind of maybe want to see a couple more days holding higher because the bigger picture is this basing action. So has a wide range day where the volume came in, so maybe like a one and done. But if we get a few sideways days, it could be a constructive trade. Or I'm gonna set an alert about this day's high. It's kind of like, let me know if it gets up there. TTPH was a good trade from the prior day. Yeah, these like narrow range days. It's like a narrow range inside day from like this bar. We're at big pictures. We're at all-time highs, in an uptrend, and so come up here, trigger here, blast through, and you could have been buying this little kind of like ABCD-ish or flag, whatever you want to call it. And risk getting down here is maybe like 15 cents. And you make like 50 cents, so 3-to-1. Not a spectacular trade, but it's still a good trade. I'm going to keep this on this list for now. Yard was a good trade yesterday, so we had this change of, so we were in an uptrend, but then had this change of character going sideways, and then kind of made our statement day here, like breaking out the top of this range, but then closing way through it and through the bottom. So on the, why do they have that level mark? Because this is like an over-under level here. It's like, call it about, it's not the best over-under. We got over here, under here, under here. And so, maybe that's a 6 level. But, what you want to see is that something's definitely changed in the way the stock's trading, the weakness from the prior day, and then we open up, test up. Full Coval at this point, we spill down, just making lower highs, and so here's a low risk entry, low risk entry here into the end of the day. I mean, you don't have to risk a whole lot there. 30 cents to make $1.20, so 4-to-1. That's a good trade. Volume's still really high, so that's what let us know to pay attention there. YY, the volume's been big in the past few days, and so it kind of had this like overlap. I mean, this isn't like a perfect trade, but I only put this on there to demonstrate if we follow Cove, good things will happen. So, the open up but test down is good. Make higher highs, higher lows intraday, holding higher in the top 90% of the range. Little sideways risk area. I mean, this is the tight shit that we want to see, and you risk it here aggressively, or here a bit more safe, or even VWAP if you wanted to. But this is just this compression, just like is what I'm looking for. And so you got in somewhere here, you're getting out, $1.50 higher, probably the worst case, but that's just following Cove rules, so that's good. PTCTs, didn't do much yesterday. This is my trade, so let me get review last few trades. So GBT, this idea for had Weight Watchers, so had this huge volume day, right, and then all these sideways bars. We started breaking out down. Now the volume was coming in, but we had these like two. This kind of, I wouldn't call these overlapping, but I mean, this kind of like this level here. That's what I noticed. It's like 1570, 1565 level, right in there, and so a couple narrow range days after that, and so we break it, and a little thin, but support becomes resistance. It's a good trade there. Okay, so talking about setups, Momo. I've still got Momo on here, but I mean it's just been in play, so but there's really no setup going in. BA, pull back in the midline, volume's coming in, overlapping days, so I've got an alert set above Friday's high, so big picture uptrend, pull back to midline, overlapping, volume's coming in as price is going up, so still constructive for the uptrend. Shop was a really good trade. I wrote this midline pullback like a long time ago as it was midline pullbacking, so this would have been a hell of a swing trade. So I will congratulate myself on identifying a good setup that actually ended up panning out. with that being said, bigger picture uptrend at all-time highs. Pull back to the midline and then holding higher in the top of the range. So I had this really narrow range doji right at all-time highs. So we opened up, kind of went down, tested that prior day's high, rotated sideways for the next bit. So like we said, it didn't go up a million points straight off the open. So, could have had some low risk entries right in here. 30 cents to make you $1.30. So 4-to-1. Shop was a good trade. BA, we talked about that idea. Alf, number one idea coming into trading on Monday. 2 narrow range inside days after all the volumes coming in, volumes dying off, but 2 narrow range inside days. So just kind of like setting alerts to both the highs and lows of these days, just to see if we get a breakout, because volume's still in there. I mean, unless this is these are the rotation days, but there really hasn't been any like backside movement, so uptrend is innocent till proven guilty. GBT had the failure, after the sideways had a failure at the top here, so not like the best one. So I'm just gonna have an alert set just below here, and definitely not really looking that for the long side, even though we were in an uptrend. So it's not really looking like it's going back up. Kite is my number 2 idea going into Monday. Strong uptrend. I mean, still uptrending, right? Still uptrending. You could even call this like a base. Now they kind of look at it from like it was going sideways for like a whole year basically, and now breakaway gap. By the first pullback. Oh my God, that worked. And then like, it's kind of holding higher above this prior resistance level. 4 sideways days. Last day narrow range inside day. 2 narrow range inside days. And the last one's doji on a lot of volume. So set alerts both ways here. I mean, the uptrend's still intact, but you never know what could happen. But definitely Kite's way up there for my thought process going into Monday. So my top 2 ideas for Monday are Kite and Alf. And number 3 would be BA. And 4 probably Seru. So that's the breakdown for Friday. At least, so to kind of break down my week's trades, because weekend review is beneficial. UAL was a shitty trade, but Clovis was actually one good trade. Momo was one good trade, but no, the volume wasn't good, and so sometimes the trades don't work as well as you want them to, but I still made a little money on it. McRib, I don't think I could have traded it really any better. I just got shook out. I think I put my stop in an appropriate place, so I haven't heard from you back on that day, but, yeah, anyway, haven't heard from you back about that day. So, AAOI, though, this was definitely one good trade, and maybe my entry here was not ideal, but, the principles are I'm trading a full Cove H in an uptrending stock. Trend trade. I mean, at least that's going for me. Maybe I got to be more cognizant of the time of day and the fact that we have kind of had 1, 2, 3 legs up. So maybe more consolidation by time is what I want to see, or I got to get in this trade earlier in the day. But definitely over here where I got in was definitely a good spot. So that's the end of the breakdown, man. Hope you have a good weekend. Later.